It's Open House Thursday on Your View. Welcome to the show. I am Murayo Afolabi Brown. As always, I have the ladies with me. Nima Akasha Zibiri. How you doing?
Like he's back. I'm fine. I'm grateful to God. This morning I'm speaking as a panelist at the Nigerian Association of Women Journalists meeting conference at Radisson Blue this morning. And you know Nima, as usual, I first come here before I will go. We're starting at 10 in an hour. Okay. I'll make it right after the show.
That's nice. Fantastic. Well done. Yeah, that's good. So, do you know what's the topic? The topic
is about International Day to protect attacks against education. So we're talking about specifically women, girl child as an endangered species because of all the insecurities.
Right. Fantastic. Well done. We look forward to that online. Yeah. How are you doing, Mariam?
I'm doing fine. Thank you. First of all, I just want to acknowledge Mariah's beauty this morning. I just kept looking at you constantly. I mean, you look so fabulous.
Thank you. Yeah, it was, Sugar, I have to tell you the name of the designer. Go ahead, how are you doing?
So it was my son's birthday, as you know, yesterday. Because he was in school, he didn't really do much.
Yeah, that's true.
But his friends came over, like the neighborhood kids. And the way they were carrying themselves like young men, you know, gisting outside. And I was saying, my daughter and I were now doing waitress. Please, what do you want? We now come and give you food outside and everything. And then they took a walk. I'm like, this boy is growing up into a young man.
1 second.
Yes, so that's where we were.
Nice. So, how you doing, Obiajilu?
I'm doing amazing.
You're still rocking this your natural hair.
Yeah.
Why can't be so happy with you?
For just a week. I'm going to cover it next week. You know, school is about to resume. Some people have resumed, but we are likely to be resuming on the 13th. So I'm just trying to sort myself together, sort out the kids, make sure that they are stable. The other children, I'm going to be changing their school. And so we're still working. Right after the show now, I'm heading to the school to go and make sure that they sure that they attend to me so that the kids can resume on the 13th.
That's nice. So I'm wearing, so you asked earlier, so I am wearing a new collection from Maison de Helen.
Oh, lovely.
The owner is the designer Elsie. She made this and her brand is called Maison de Helen. So she's launching today. And this is the
is she French?
Collection. She looks French too, though. You can see her. She's really pretty.
Maison de Helen.
Maison de Helen, yeah. So I'll take a full picture of it after the show. But she's launching the collection today, so definitely she wanted me to wear it just to help her.
Beautiful.
Really Thank you very much. You like the turban?
Yeah, and you know how to tie the turban. You're looking at my
Anyways,
I'm not around.
I cannot but mention that today on Tuesday is 30 years. And I have a special message from one of our producers. I say, happy 30th anniversary to the state of Osun. This greeting is coming from our producer, Your View, the ladies of Your View's producer, Adedolapo Maradesa, a son of the soil.
Son of the soil. Son of the soil.
I kept practicing in my head, but somehow my brain just... Thank you. So happy 30th.
Congratulations to Osun State. Yeah.
Okay, and before I run off again, I have to remind you, please take your vaccines.
My in-laws went to get vaccines yesterday.
Woo! Your mother-in-law, fantastic.
Yesterday.
Nice.
And they called me to mention, I have collected. I said, Mama, okay, I'm so proud. I want to know the next day too.
Get it as soon as
possible. They went on their own, the primary healthcare center, just within their community, just to stroll down, and they were attended to. So it's free, it's seamless.
Fantastic.
Get your vaccines.
Please tell your friends and neighbors, go and get your vaccines, because the earlier we take it, the better for all of us. Okay, let's go on a quick break now. When we return, we go through the front pages of the papers. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Okay, we're going to start with Punch. VAT collection row. Wike talks tough. Lagos defense bill as FIRS rights National Assembly. Rivers pensioners laments colleagues' death. Projects of non-payment of 9-year gratuities. Igboho's aides sue DSS for defamation, rights violation, and demand 100 million naira. Passengers strangle Lagos doctor turned Uber driver and steal his car. Government abducts 3 of Obasanjo's workers in Ogun State. Families throng Lagos Cemetery as fallen tree breaks graves. Ooh. FG network in sight as 5G actually. 5G networks in sight as FG approves policy. NDLEA seizes 6 billion naira drug linked to Middle East criminal gangs. And Buhari's 108 farm estates herders settlement in disguise, says Afeni Ferry. Okay, let's start with
the pensioners.
Yes, please.
In River State. So yesterday they took to the streets of Port Harcourt that's yesterday to protest against the non-payment of their gratuities since 2012, as well as their pension allowances. Most of them said they retired from the civil service since 2015 and they haven't been paid anything. They said most of them have died. Some people, their landlords have chased them out of their houses because they are not able to pay. Some are not able to pay their children's school fees. They were really upset and they wore all black, carried placards and asking that the state pay them, that it's not a crime to serve the nation, but afterwards they should have something that, you know, like a compensation, something that they can fall back on. And so the Commissioner of Police, came out to speak to them. Okay. And he said he was going to ensure that the state government does something about it. And they're saying that they're giving the state 2 weeks. If they do not attend to them, they are going to be back on the streets protesting. I pray that the state listens to it. These are old men. How would you feel if you see your father who has labored and served, and at the end of his years, he's not even able to feed or pay? Oh, no, come on. It's wicked.
This has a ripple effect because young people will not want to work. They don't want to go through this.
Before. Yeah.
So why would I want to work?
9 years gratuity, right?
Yes, 9 years.
9 years ago, was the pension act not already in existence?
It was.
So what exactly did the state do?
It's the problem.
Let's speak
let me take out the human interest story. Really sad and unfortunate story. 27-year-old medical doctor who was also an Uber driver on Sunday was strangled to death by his passengers. So, and Ahmed had requested for a trip at about 10 p.m. This medical doctor took his car to pick him up. The trip was supposed to take them to Ikeja. They live in the Abule Egba. He stayed in the Abule Egba area. They said as they approached the underbridge in that Abule Egba area, they strangled him from behind and threw his corpse out and drove away with the car. Wow. At the time he got that request, he was with his girlfriend. So she said, after a while, she tried to reach him and found she could not reach him. And then she tracked the car, and it was found in a mechanic's workshop in that same area. She went there, she noticed that the plate number had been removed, the tires had been taken out, so she went to the Meron police station. They followed her, they arrested the mechanic person, and also he took them to the other accomplices. So they've been arrested. Really sad. I want to name the names of these wicked people.
Please go ahead.
So Rewan Nasiru, they say 27, Sadiq Taiwo 23, and one Oladimeji 30, and the other one who was just called Ahmed. So these were the 4 wicked people that did this to this man, who was supposed to resume work the next day. He had just gotten a job because he's a medical doctor, but decided to do this just to have some cash in his hand.
Something illegal.
Look at how they ended that man's life.
Really sad. And that's where you punch?
Yes, I have the windstorm that uprooted an ancient tree at Abari Cemetery in the Lagos Island East Local Council development. Yes, so I think about 2 weeks ago, a branch of the tree had fallen and covered some graves, damaged some graves. So they were trying to, remove the trees gradually so that they will check the number of graves that have been affected, only for the windstorm to come and uproot this tree. They said the tree is over 100 years old. Wow. Uprooted the whole thing, and it fell on a number of graves. Some are saying 50 graves have been damaged. Others are saying it will definitely be up to 100 because they haven't finished removing the trees to ascertain the number. So they're asking people who have relatives buried there to go and check to be sure.
Okay. Yeah. I know a lot of Lagosians. I know Abari is popular for a lot of Lagosians and particularly Muslims that buried their dead in those days. I know some of my friends whose grandfathers.
But that wind must be very...
Wow. Okay, so FEC has approved the national policy on the FG networks for Nigeria's digital economy. This was said at the last FEC meeting after a presentation by the Minister of Communications and Digital Economy. Interestingly, they've actually started trials back on November 25th, 2019, and there was a lot of stakeholder engagements to ensure that it was safe for Nigeria. And I think now they have the approval to go ahead to launch. So there you have it. 5G is around the corner in Nigeria.
End time.
You remember?
Please. Who's taking it daily? Not taking it here. If you're taking it somewhere else. Okay, moving on to Vanguard. FIRS Rivers Lagos lock horns over VAT. Gombe begs. Policeman killed, 23 abducted as bandits attack Kaduna communities. Open graves in southern governors battle Miyetti Allah. How NDLA intercepted 6 billion naira worth of addictive pills linked to terrorists, says Marwa. Igboho's aides, one chance thieves hijacked our case file. Yes, NNPC records working capital below 4.56 trillion naira as consolidates on gain. Buhari's visits to Imo divides Ohaneze and IPOB, and FEC okays national policy on 5G. Okay.
NDLA.
NDLA, please.
Guys, man. So, Brigadier General Marwa was saying at an event in Radisson Blu, he was saying that recently at the Apapa port, about the agency intercepted over 74 kilograms of a drug that at street value would be 6 billion naira.
Wow.
He says this particular drug is called amphetamine, and also known as Captagon. That they had gotten intelligence that it was coming through. So it had come from a Middle Eastern country. They said these drugs are very well known, very well used in Middle Eastern countries by insurgents. And so they're quite sure that it was coming to be used by, what we're going through, the insurgents, the kidnappers. Because they said it puts you in a state of euphoria. You're unable to sleep for days.
Wow.
And then it emboldens you and allows you to do some really wicked things without feeling anything. So they know that these drugs were meant for criminals. And they came in over 450,000 tablets. They said they had gone to check the container that they had intelligence was bringing. The first day they had gone in, they didn't see anything, only some marble machines and things like that. Then they sent in the dogs, and the dogs sniffed these things out. So thankfully, they have intercepted this. But he says that we should be careful, that this is where we are right now. We are now people are importing drugs that will further, hurt our country.
Yes.
Here we are trying to fight. Yes, here we are fighting insurgency, kidnappers, and now they are getting drugs to embolden them. These people will not be afraid of anything once they start to use these drugs.
But I've always been, I've always wondered how they are able to operate the way they do without any form of drugs.
No conscience.
No conscience.
No feelings.
Yeah, no feelings. Wow.
Okay, so interestingly, Igboho's matter. So the DSS yesterday told the Federal High Court that the case file was stolen by one chance. So we were complaining about one chance, we go to enter boss and one chance. DSS is, I don't know what the DSS official is doing to one chance. I don't understand this thing. So they're saying that the case file against the 12, you recall, remember the 12 associates of Sunday Igboho who were arrested. So they had faced the court. They said that the DSS said the case file contained the fundamental rights enforcement suit filed by the 12 associates of Sunday Igboho. And they were saying this when the matter was called. And they said it was stolen from a member of the service legal team. I mean, how is that tenable?
I don't understand.
Okay, well, so the court...
We are not saying things don't happen, but respectfully approach the judge and adjourn, say that you have an emergency, you inform your counterpart or defense team, and then nobody will know this embarrassment that you just publicized. But that's one chance.
The judge didn't even care. He just said that he ruled out the case file, and he said that it should be returned to the registry for reassignment.
Simple and short.
So, one chance or no one chance.
That one chance excuse to an institution like the DSS is an embarrassment.
The president...
So if you say that the computer crashed,
it's a different thing.
That's almost believable.
One chance.
Official entered one chance.
Yeah, please go ahead, Jerry.
Yes, so the president is supposed to be in Imo State. I don't know if he's there already today. However, Ohaneze Ndigbo and IPOB are disagreeing over the president's visit to Imo. Ohaneze has said that they are welcoming the president wholeheartedly. This is an opportunity for them to present some of the issues that are bedeviling them in Imo State, and it's going to give them an opportunity, to talk to the president and explain things to the president. But IPOB ordered a sit at home for the president's visit. They do not want to see anybody outside. And so the markets, as at yesterday, were very full. People were trying to buy food stuff, so that they can stock up the house and sit at home. And they are also asking that, Masob is also asking that they discuss with the president to release their leader, IPOB leader, Nnamdi Kanu, that he's actually being tortured wherever he is right now, and they want to demand from the president to release him. My sister-in-law is in my house. She came from Owerri. She was supposed to travel today, but flights have been cancelled. Nobody is responding. She's still home, and school is about to resume for her kids.
Security must be beefed up.
Yes, let's go on a quick break. When we come back, we'll continue with the review. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. We're still reviewing the papers. Yes, Busy had a story in Vanguard.
Okay, that's the bandits. So bandits, again, they have attacked 2 communities in Kaduna State. It's Ungwanlaka and Ungwamaje. 23, a police inspector was killed and 23 people abducted. So in the first community, they said that these bandits, of course, came in shooting sporadically, and then they abducted about 16 people. Most of them were women and children. Then in Ungwanlaka, they came in, abducted 6 people. A mobile police officer who had come visiting from Rivers State was killed. His wife and child were among those that were abducted. The police are on to them. They said, I mean, it's just the usual sad story of bandits going to communities, killing people and getting away with it.
Okay. We're taking the open grazing already. Let's move on to Daily Sun. Akeredolu hits Miyetti Allah. Masop to Igbo leaders ask Buhari to free Kanu. Wike corporate bodies meet as VAT law takes effect. FG calls for calm as earth tremor rocks Oyo community. Armed robbers stole case file of Igboho's cases. Igboho's aides, actually. Cholera, over 2,000 killed in 2 months. NNPC consolidates on gains, publishes 2020 audited financial statement. Okay, let's stay on
Major headline.
Yes, Major headline, Miyetti Allah.
So, the governor of Ondo State had issued a vacation notice to all elders in the Ondo forest reserves. And Miyetti Allah responded. They responded through Bello Bodejo, the national president of Miyetti Allah, reacted saying that they will not leave the forest in Ondo State because herders have been in that forest of what they call Fulani herders have been in that forest for over 250 years, and that the governor lacks the powers to evict them. This was what the governor found like as a confrontation. According to the special advisor on special duties, special assistant on special duties and strategy, Dr. Doyin Odebowale, he said this they describe as a threat by the group, and that because of that, they would ensure that it is enforced and that they will be evicted from the forest, but in a different way. The Miyetti Allah Lagos zone are appealing to the governor of Lagos to give them time to teach their members how to organize themselves without, walking
indiscriminately around
their cattle around. For them to learn how to ranch and how to keep their heads. So that's a better approach than the outright confrontation and saying to a governor in a state that you are not authority to over us and you want to exist in that state. So
they also mentioned quickly that if they ban that open grazing, the cost of cattle will increase across states. And these people need to be able to do their own business. Akeredolu is saying that he's going to enforce the anti-open grazing law. He's going to enforce it vigorously in his state, and it's not.
Okay. So UNICEF is saying it's raising alarm at the effect of cholera in our country. As of in 2 months, they said we've had about 6,500 reported cases per week. 49, mostly we have about women and children within and then the number of the age group that falls within this is between age 5 and 14 years of age, and 15% of the people affected by cholera are under 5 years. They said that 46 million Nigerians, many of the reasons that we have cholera outbreak almost on an annual basis is that we have 46 million Nigerians still defecating in the open. And that they were saying in Abuja, you see people defecating on expressways, under bridges, water slides. transport hubs, marketplaces, that either there are no toilets in places like that, or where there are toilets, they are inadequate, they are not maintained properly. Even when you go to hospitals and health centers, it's either they do not have proper toilets, or there's no water to maintain hygiene in those areas. UNICEF is saying that so far what they are giving Nigeria, to help fight this is water chlorination for over 1,700 patients, over 2,000 houses, and 20,000 school children. They're also going to train hygiene volunteers in communities, teach them how to use chlorine tablets, teach them about disinfection of water. They're also constructing 7 water supply facilities. 41 is still under construction. They're saying that these things they're doing, government has also been doing it. They have, in their own way, provided legislation and enforcement, but really it's the attitude of Nigeria that's constantly pushed cholera to be something that we experience every year. So Nigerians is left to us to improve our hygiene practices.
Yeah. So the Director General of the Nigeria Geological Survey Agency, NGSA, Dr. Abdul Razak Garba, told newsmen in Abuja yesterday that tremor occurred on Tuesday in Shaki, local government of Oyo State. And so the federal government is asking the natives of Shaki to remain calm, as they have sent a team of experts to evaluate the extent of the damage. They're also saying that this is a natural occurrence, and it's not within the powers of human beings to stop. But a team of experts have been sent in to monitor what is happening. And according to them, they said they have only 6 seismograph monitoring stations across the country. And they need more of those equipments so that they can have consistent monitoring to ensure that this does not really, it's something that they will have data on, because it's nothing. It cannot be stopped by humans. It will happen from time to time. But if they have data, they may be able to manage it and predict when it's coming.
I remember, I think it was 2020, we had that issue in Abuja.
Yeah, the tremor.
Yeah, we were questioning whether it was tremor or if it was...
Okay. Now, let me quickly take the Nigerian Tribune. Let's find a story we've not taken. Former governors may produce next PDP national chairman. Thieves snatched Igboho's... Okay, I think I took that already.
Yeah, go ahead.
Rivers got 4.7 billion naira of the 15 billion naira VAT. Kano received the same 2.8 billion naira generated. Wike reveals and laments injustice. Wike's VAT battle puts Nigeria's federalism on trial, says experts. State's VAT management will cause confusion, says FIRC. Tax reforms, FIRS writes National Assembly wants Federal Revenue Court to exclusively handle VAT matters. I mean, these are all VAT related.
Yeah.
So Zamfara government intercepts food fuel supply to bandits, arrests 100 suspects. Kogi, EFCC now tool of oppression, opposition parties tell Buhari. And finally, establishment of farm estates, Greek gifts to fatal Trojan horse, says Afenifere. Okay.
Governor of Rivers State, Governor Nyesom Wike, has found corrupt the attitude of the chairperson of the FIRS in trying to get, while they were in court since 2020, and this July 2021, he tried to get the National Assembly to remove the VAT from the concurrent list into item 58 of the exclusive list, even though he knows that they're already challenging the powers of the agency to collect VAT. Wike says that, it is wrong because in his state, for instance, they generated about 15.1 billion, and in that state, they got 4.7 billion that year. Whereas Kano generated 2.8 billion and Kano got 2.8 billion. Lagos, for instance, generated 46.4 billion and got 9.something billion, or 9.3 billion of that amount. That there's so much injustices and imbalance in the way VAT is collected by the FIRS and distributed. So it's something that states should handle. But the FIRS now said no. That there will be a clash of interest, because if a businessman, for instance, buys things from Osun, and he gets to Sokoto to sell, he would have paid VAT in Osun, and then when he gets to Sokoto, he will pay VAT again. That is wrong, and they're saying that this will, they called it a very technical term. They said by operation, input and output mechanism, this business person will deduct input tax in Osun from Osun State and do output tax charged in Sokoto State as well. in this case, this is irrelevant, that the FIRS as a national body is better at collation of
so if you buy corn in California, but you pay taxes for the raw materials, you can't sell it in New Jersey
because when we had the expert here, what he mentioned was that states are allowed to take consumption taxes. So if a person buys and taxes, VAT is removed from production at the point of production and initial purchase. So it's the production company that you pay that remits the VAT to the state. The place you're selling, as long as that production did not happen there, why are we paying VAT there? You know, even though it has to travel. So all these conflicts is something that we need technical
what I like about this is that data doesn't lie. Figures don't lie. So we're talking restructuring, true federalism, and it looks really vague. When you bring it out to numbers, where you're saying, this is what I'm generating. If you are saying you cannot generate it, I mean, I like the way Governor Wike puts it. If you have the numbers, these humongous figures to vote, that same figure better start working and paying taxes.
Yes, they should generate.
So when the election revenue, one committee to have 4 million, that 4 million people,
they should generate their revenue.
Generate revenue.
It's not easy.
It's very important. Show up when you want to vote. So I mean, I like the way this argument is going.
These are the difficult conversations that you know, the federal government, National Assembly presently are having difficulty having. So we will force Governors Forum will force the conversation through the courts, and this is the right way.
Let's take the final story.
Yes, so this in Plateau State, on yesterday, the police paraded the alleged killers of Pa Dari. Remember Dari, former governor of Plateau State, former senator. His father was kidnapped, and a few days after he was killed, a ransom was paid for him for 10 million. But the police were able to apprehend his abductors and killers. And the story is, so there's a person in the community, almost like a leader in the community, who had asked a few people, he employed them to do the kidnapping of this man, and also with some Fulani herders. So they kidnapped him, and they said the reason they were kidnapping him was because his son, of course, had been governor twice for 8 years, been senator, and yet you look at the community, people are unemployed, their youth are unemployed. So he asked that he be abducted. When he was abducted, he was killed. He says he did not mean to kill him, but the boys he had asked to abduct him did it. So they had made a mistake in killing him. And now they are, you know, talking about how much they got, 400,000, 650,000. That was how this money was shared for the life of one person.
So in this kind of situation where you have somebody have a confession, you just exterminate.
Yeah, I'm sure they'll go through the courts and be prosecuted.
That's the problem with due process.
Even though we know what the process is.
That's the problem with our, I mean,
and democracy.
Sometimes it's like, see, I don't think we're even ripe for this democracy.
We're not mature enough for it.
We're at a level where sometimes you just have to just take some matters.
Deter people. You know that once you are caught, you are gone.
When you now get to a level, then we now begin to put some reason.
Civilizing ourselves.
Yeah, I think because sometimes this is just horrific.
We are past the level now. We are the level where you must say your fair hearing is guaranteed.
And it's good for us to even hear these stories like this. Because I always feel that people that are close to you that are able to carry out this.
Okay, let's go on a quick break. It's Thursday. We have a lot to talk about. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. So, popular Nollywood actress Tonto Dikeh and her politician lover, Prince Kpokpogri, deepened their breakup rumor as their love affair crumbled recently. Now, Prince Kpokpogri allegedly leaked an audio conversation of Tonto begging him, claiming that she is the disturbed one, threatening him with suicide. This was coming days after Tonto broke up with him officially, and has actually also come out to say this was an old audio recording. Now, as usual, we don't want to discuss these people's matter, really. Our focus is how do you begin to spot a toxic relationship that you're in, or how much do you open up? Is this betrayal? Is this cheating? This publicity of our relationships, does it help our marriage or does it destroy our marriage? Exposing your weakness to your partner. So in that time when you're very vulnerable and you break out and say everything, hoping that this person you're speaking to is responsible enough to hear you and not put you out to the public for ridicule. How do we, as adults, begin to spot and know these things before it gets out of hand? That's really the conversation here this morning. Please, if you'd like to join the conversation, you can call us on 081-270-53687, 091-390-76948. You can also send us messages on YouTube, and Facebook. Will be happy to hear your thoughts. Ladies, let me start with Nima. Go ahead, please.
So I don't have the permission of my mentee to share details, so I won't mention her name. But a mentee of mine had a young marriage, less than a year, and the first fight, she was, according to her, was being abused by her partner, and he went as far as abusing her family members. She got provoked and started to rant, and at that point, he too kept quiet. So she thought it's the advice of the wedding that they say when he's angry, you keep quiet when you're angry. So all the while, he kept quiet, and she was ranting out of provocation. He recorded everything, everything she said. And so when the fight had gone down, and she was still like, he played it to all family members on both sides. And it totally destroyed her because she had something she had put in his hands, something about her vulnerability, her past, that she had confessed to him. Between both of them alone, he also released that.
Oh.
You know? So that's why I took interest in Tonto. I read it very detailed. Is it okay? Is it your defense when you record your partner in a relationship where trust has been established, where I can say anything and, okay, later I say, okay, I'm sorry. And then even though you record it, how does it get out? You know, let's say you record it and then we are past it. Did you delete it? Are you sorry about it? And then you know the
now use as evidence against me in future.
The guy had said I had tweeted or wrote a post that your ex-husband calling out our ex-husband saying you try now man you be.
What?
And then he said later I have evidence I would share. And then later this leaks. And now he's saying he didn't leak it, but he recorded. Who recorded it? How did he record it? So the level of such betrayal, I'm not saying she's a saint, and so likewise a lot of people have their past. But once we get into a marriage, it's a different ball game because I saw the family of my mentee, and even the in-laws family tear apart for what they heard from the recording. So nobody has the maturity to say why was it recorded.
Let me come to Miriam, your thoughts on this, because that trust. So there's a marriage, there's an institution of marriage. And yes, we do things and we're adults. And yeah, I open up, I'm vulnerable to you. The least I expect of you is to hold that trust till death do us part. Really. But how come we're not seeing stuff like that anymore?
It reminds me of the Bible where they say brood of vipers. That's the sort of people we're engaging with these days. Everyone is just acting in such a way that they have put their ego and their selfish wants ahead of, you know, just mutual respect, just kindness and empathy. For me, I'm wondering, if you're in a relationship with someone and you have gotten to the point where you record that person, you don't love the person.
Exactly.
Why do you hate someone and then put yourself to be in a relationship with them? You have to hate someone to put out that sort of audio about them, to even have the mind to take it and then play it. You know, we used to hear these things about the Hollywood actors and actresses, and we'd be like, Oyinbo people, how do they behave like this? They don't have culture, that's why they behave like this. But it's obviously a human thing, where you are with people that have no sort of kindness in them. They're just wicked people. And for me, I'm sorry, as you said, she's not a saint, and we're not talking about that. We're saying that when there's a relationship, there's that mutual trust that should be there. But it looks like we have to start talking about NDAs, non-disclosure, whatever, agreements. So whatever happens within this relationship stays within this relationship. If you are caught saying anything about it, I can sue you. That's what celebrities abroad are doing. It's because they have seen this thing happen over time, over and over again. The truth is that when you are a public figure, there will be people around you who want to take advantage of that. And some of them would put themselves out as if they love you, they care for you, they want to be in a relationship with you, but they're just biding their time, waiting for when they can use whatever information they have about you to, you know.
If you are a private figure. We've had relationships where it didn't work out anymore, and then you just start hearing secrets you have
already shared with your partner. You hear it all over. If you dated in the university, it was rife. You break up with this boy and all those things you told him while you guys were dating, the whole class. You just come to class one day and everybody's looking at you like this. They have heard the story, you know, and that has made a lot of women not be vulnerable. They are not able to share. They are not able to, you know, give their all, because there's this, there's always this wall. You just, a little wall, no matter how small it is, that
very strong.
Some people's own strong past other people's own. But, you know, just build it to, as a way of protecting yourself, because anything can happen in that relationship. And we had the mindset that when you get into a loving relationship, a marriage relationship, you don't share everything. They know they tell man everything. You know, that's how we're raised, actually. It's as a result of all of this. Now, we are beginning to have conversations where we're saying we can work together. Can two work together except they agree? We can share. And the two of them became naked. We are supposed to be naked with each other, with our secrets. We're not supposed to have secrets in marriages. Let me talk about marriages now, because relationship, nobody send you that one. But marriages, you're supposed to be able to open up to your spouse. Let them know who you are. If anything happens, your spouse is supposed to be your protection. There is nothing that will happen today that the marriage ends. I will now sit down and be saying, this is what has happened. This is how this person has lived. This is how I will never find myself in that position, because even if it ends today, what happened to the love we had yesterday? What happened to the respect we had yesterday? And I'm very weary of men. I observe men a lot who are flippant, who can easily share secrets of other people. Tomorrow, they will share your own secrets. I think we need to do more. Let's not be in a hurry to just get into the relationship because the butterflies, the person has six packs and everything. Let us watch their actions, how they relate to their family, how they relate to their friends, how they relate to their colleagues, how they relate to people that they do not benefit anything from.
And don't even get into those relationships while you are broken. Sometimes when you're broken, you just... You kind of miss those important details. Let's go to a break. When we come back, we'll continue this conversation. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Thanks for staying with us. So we're discussing this matter because we're trying to learn how to avoid people. I don't want to be so direct, but maybe I should. I should. People like Prince Kpokpogri. You know, how women should not fall into the trap of being with people like this, who can bring out your darkest, your most secretive parts of you to the open.
Your weakest moments.
Your weakest moments. That is wickedness at its height. So as much as for him it might be a public display, where you let people get that traction and let them hear what this person said, but some of us don't. We didn't interpret that way.
No,
we saw it as a complete betrayal.
He looked wrong. It looked bad for him, because you know, when we were growing up, when they would talk about boys, kiss and tell. The boys that kissed and tell were the silly boys. And then
the immature ones.
The immature boys. And then they were supposed to grow out of it. So some of them grew out of it. But you knew, as the girls, as a smart girl, you would know the kiss and tell one. He's the one that's always just talking. He would even say things that did not happen to look like he's more important than. He has been with every girl that he cannot even dare be in her presence. And then God help him, he now gets into a relationship with that girl. Everybody's going to know every tiny single detail. So those sort of boys, we avoided them. If you were smart, you knew them and you avoided them. Some of them now grow up into men like this. It does not look good on you in any way. I don't know who deceived you, sir, because what you did is low level, really, it looks really bad on you. And for girls too, I think, because you mentioned something, girls, it's important that you learn to love yourself. You need to understand that you on your own, you are important. You need to have standards for yourself. You need to have boundaries for yourself. It's okay to draw the line on something and say, I would not take this and I would take this. It's okay to be by yourself sometimes. If the men around you are not up to par. If they are not the sort of people that you can find that show respect, they are not kind, they are not normal thinking people. Because they are the ones around does not mean you have to be in a relationship with them. Please
have a standard.
Have a standard.
Let me take this call. Good morning. Are you there?
Well done.
Good morning.
Hassan, you're live. Go ahead, please.
Good morning, the high table. Please, I would like you to differentiate between this caliber of people and normal people. Please. Because you see, you can see what that the subject you're talking about did to her first husband. These are the fake people so far. Those caliber of people, we know them. Everything of theirs is in public domain.
Ew.
They derive their popularity, their fame, from their exposure to the public. They are not real people. Stop comparing them with people like you, Murayo. Stop comparing them with people like Mariam. You understand? These are the people that all their life is on fake. Both the man and the woman. Men and the women, they are categories of what they are. So when you are talking of a distant relationship, please let us talk of distant people.
All right. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
I wanted to play devil's advocate for this guy.
Wanted to what?
Play devil's advocate for him.
Okay.
So let's assume that, let's acknowledge that it's Tonto he married. It's not every regular woman. She's a drama queen. This could have been the other way around. Yeah. And we've seen men who've been saved by the videos. Neymar, the footballer, was saved by the CCTV camera in his room when the girl came. So we know the kind of wiles and caprices that women play. Yeah. A smart woman can decide, okay, it's me, the world will hear. And Tonto, you saw the kind of past that she had with her ex, the kind of drama that surrounded that breakup, everything, the publicity. And this guy would be in a relationship without working on eggshells. In fact, the relationship will be working on bottles.
If we're not entering,
wait. So maybe, just maybe, keeping an audio of every conversation was his defense.
There's no point.
Just maybe.
Just maybe.
DSS relationship
trying to make sense of it. Okay. We look at the person in question. This is not a regular young girl.
So if you are dating like a Okonjo-Iweala now, you need to record.
You have to record.
But somebody who has a past and precedent.
You don't have to date the person.
They don't date.
But they are dating.
No, you don't have to.
They don't, but they are dating.
If you know you're so
that's not dating.
Relationship guns blazing.
I want to pause because I have experienced something like this before.
Okay.
It's interesting. I like to share my own story. I mean, many of you already know my story. And I mean, I'm one person that I try really hard not to have enemies because that's my nature. I wouldn't intentionally have an enemy. But if you become an enemy, that's your business. But I don't go out, set out to have an enemy. But I've fallen out with a few friends in the past where each of my friends that I've fallen out with, I have approached them. We've spoken, we've ironed this out, and even though we're not chummy, we still respectfully, at least we've cleared the air.
Yes.
But there was one in particular, I refused to clear the air because of things like this. So I open up to you, I tell you certain things, and we fell out, and the next thing you do is forward every message or thing like that. You don't recall, they forward to you ladies, forward to producers, forward to everybody. And for me, that was like, okay, I told you this in private. It was an A-B conversation. Yet I said a few things I probably regret I shouldn't have said it, but I said it to a friend. And then having it passed around. And even the person I said it about, you one person but there's something I said about my husband that, of course, I didn't mean it, but it came out the wrong way. The person sent it to my husband. Now, a normal person would say, Murayo. So it took a lot of maturity on the part of my husband to understand, okay, she didn't mean it that way. It came out, Murayo man, she mistake on small slips here and there. You know, so these things happen not just in male-female relationships, but in friendships when you open up to your friend. Yeah. And then
it goes out, and everything is out in the open.
So we have to be careful.
So we need to understand that you cannot give what you do not have. If you're dealing with somebody who does not love themselves, what do you expect? It starts from there. There is no way I would have a fallout with any of you on this table. And I will go outside and expose it. Because I love myself. I respect myself. I value myself. And in any relationship I have, I try to love the next person. So if it's something that I know if you do to me, I will not like, I will not put myself in that position to do it to you. That's one.
Secondly, we're always in a hurry to be vulnerable.
Yes.
There's time for everything. It's like a prostitute who finally gets married and has children and now decides to start preaching about how she went through that experience, and then you call a child of 4 years and start explaining to the child that I want to be open to you, I want to be true to you, I used to be a prostitute before. You have damaged that child. When that child is old enough to understand and process that information, then it's okay to give that information because you want to be true. But you just start a relationship of 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and then you start telling them you have killed 7 children before you got into this relationship. You have done this, you have stolen before, you will end a relationship that would have grown to a level.
But they will say you're keeping secrets.
It's not secret.
That you're not opening up.
There's time. There's something I always observe from Miriam. Miriam does not rush into relationship with anybody. She will just be studying you and be giving you time. She'll be studying you and be giving you time. And I was discussing with somebody and they said, yes, she has to. Because of the way human beings have become. You don't give, even the scripture said, you don't give the food of the children to the dogs. There's time for everything. So when you start a new relationship, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, is not the time to tell them that you used to steal before, you used to do this before. That's not the time. Okay, you will even drive somebody that would have loved and understood you and get themselves to be ready to take you for who you are.
Let me take this call. I'll come to you. Samuel has been holding up for a while. Samuel, are you there?
Good morning.
You're live. Go ahead, please.
My take on this matter is that a lot of people lack the requisite maturity to go into relationship.
Yes, like that. Requisite maturity.
Maturity is a thing of the mind, not of age.
Yeah.
If you are mature enough to go into a relationship, you will love for the right reasons. And if you love for the right reasons, you will, no matter the information at your disposal. As far as I'm concerned, when I fall in love with my wife, look, I fall in love with you, what is happening now. I don't care about your past. I was not a part of your past. So that is none of my issue. Even though at my own starting point, we divert everything to each other. And today, by the grace of God, we are 11 years into marriage.
Wow, congratulations.
Not that we don't have issues. We have issues. But we resolve our issues maturely. No family people, no family interference in our matter.
Right.
Whatever starts in our houses, we don't, So a lot of people do not have the requisite maturity.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Samuel.
Like that. Thank you.
Yes. So at what point, what do you see as signs in a marriage that you're now thinking? Because for a lawyer that has relied on couples' videos and evidence for my cases, I cannot come and be pretending people should not take audios. In fact, once you give me a call, I'll say, do you have video evidence? Because it's our strongest link. And if you do start to build the video evidence, I mean, they know. And I've done it for a man trying to divorce his wife as well. So I'm not going to... What pattern do you see in a person that you need a defense? That this might be the end. You've entered this relationship in love, blinded, but now you're seeing clearly. And things don't they open. What exactly would you do?
Let me say, for me, it's not just about, it's the content. What is he trying to prove? We have people who have found themselves in physically abusive relationships. And before they come out, the same man that has beaten you will pamper you until you get well before you're allowed to come out. So women like that would take physical. But if it's to show how, look at her, who she was begging me for. She was actually begging. It's the content. This is just anyhow gutter behavior, anyhow information you just want to
prove. He was trying to prove infidelity. In one of the conversations, he mentioned that there's a message of someone at 3 a.m. saying, I'm at your door.
But who are you trying to prove infidelity to?
To the person,
to the public?
That's the point.
So who are you? You're trying to prove infidelity with your lawyer?
You get this evidence and use it in a private, family courts are usually private, in a private session, it's different. But when you now think...
But that is not evidence.
Now all of them are going to social media.
It's not even that. You, see, he was accusing her of infidelity. She was saying she was not committing it. And if he thought this is not something you have to sit down with the whole council of elders to discuss. I don't even trust you. I don't believe you. You may be telling the truth, but I don't believe you. End of relationship. Simple and short. Not everything has to be recorded and made to make you look as if you have found a big secret. And see, you know what? I don't even like the style of this your hair anymore. I just don't want to be in a relationship with you. Simple. I don't like the way you smile. I don't want to be. You have the right to decide to end the relationship. You don't have to spread how the process happens.
How you press your toothpaste. We don't like to complain. We're going to wrap up on this. I'd like to get some tweets and some tweets and messages. I think I have a call holding, I believe. No, I don't. Let's go on a quick break. When we come back, we'll continue with the conversation. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. So I'd like to take a few messages from Facebook and YouTube.
I'm just taking to you. Mariah is looking really beautiful. Oh, yeah. I love the way she calls the guy's name, Kpokpogri. Kpokpogri is a kid and should be ashamed of himself, thinking he can destroy Tonto. See himself with the bad dress code, wearing furs in Africa. Wow.
Nima, don't read
Chris
that
says, make her leave the recording, because if not, she record and nobody go talk. Madeni says the audio is bad. Kende said, with all this show, now you ladies know how to gist. Mariah, we need a tutorial on how you tie this head wrap.
Now, honestly, that's the next show. Biliki says, I wouldn't support anyone recording any conversation with someone else in an ideal situation. If it now results to needing a legal evidence for an abuse, perhaps that would be an exception. And
so, but you can even record, but it has to be used responsibly. So there are things you record. Just so if I was the guy, and I wanted to, because just like you said, there's a possibility a man like that is probably walking on eggshells, knowing that, okay, I'm in a relation with somebody who has broken up here, had these issues, so I want to guard my heart. Okay, fine, you want to record, no problem. Then the conversation between you and I, right? And then when you make her understand, I have seen you, you've done this, this is the last chance. It's just between the two of you. It shouldn't get out because of your own... It looks bad on you as a person when that kind of thing gets out.
Even if you don't put it in the gist and all the blogs, you put it to family, it's still getting out. And this has been a trick for men, generations unborn. Where we'll be, we say, oh, wait, let me call a friend who was there, or we even press record. And you know, when the smartphones now came, it became so popular. I used to just hate that there's a conversation happening and a man just has to talk about private things. The Rasul Sallallahu used to say that, curse such men who release the privacy of their bedroom, the things that happen with their friends. So it's even a sin in my own faith. So you have some relationship and you are easily talking about it with all your friends. You have bad things going wrong. All your friends know already. And family members.
Let me take this call that comes to Mariam. Namdi, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
You're live. Go ahead, please.
Okay, I'm first-time caller.
Welcome to the show.
I love what you are doing here. But I want to make my contribution on those nothing. Okay, what I want to say on my own view is that it is an immaturity for you to destroy your security within your person in your relationship. It is an immaturity. When somebody is mature to be in a relationship, you don't have to disclose anything. So any person that does that is not mature enough to be in a relationship at all. Because relationship between two persons is all about keeping secrets for each other. So no matter the level of dispute that come in, you don't need to disclose it to anybody else. I cannot disclose anything with my girlfriend, with anybody. It's nobody's business. Even if we separate and the secret remains. Then you don't need any party to separate because at the end of the day, everything boils down in the woman's food. So once that there is a lady's secret, you are starting to image of the girl at the end of the field affect the girl in future. So the girl you did not marry or intention that you to have discussed on your friend, I see that it's an immaturity on level of some guys that they are not qualified to be that.
Thank you very much, Namdi. Yes, Mariam.
So I remember a story, and it's about, Muslims are allowed to marry more wives. And this person had a Muslim man approach her and talking about his first wife, the mother of his children, telling her she cannot do. That's one of the, that's one of the things. And I said to her, like, if you can say that about her, the one that has given her life to him, and you that you're just passing through, just know that your own is waiting for you in front. So there are people like that. I just want to say, the releasing of audio of a situation like that is also like releasing someone's pictures.
Yes. Yeah.
You take them, and in his own case, he will be taking your picture without you realizing that your pictures are being taken, and then you release it. So you're right. People have done this over time, but we need to teach people to be smarter. Because I also feel that people like that attract their kind.
Energy.
So if you are that sort of person, you're likely to meet someone like that. But there have been situations where innocent people who do not deserve to be treated like that have found themselves in situations like that. Be careful of how people you're with treat others while they're still chummy and happy with you. That is your message. That is your flag that you should take. Don't allow them to use you as their example.
Let me take this call from Doris. Doris, are you there? Doris, you're live. Go ahead, please.
Good morning.
Morning, Doris.
I just wanted to like contribute. I'm a first-time caller.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you. What happened is, like, so yesterday, I'm not even a social media freak like that. So yesterday, a friend of mine was telling me about this Tonto Dikeh, and I'm like, okay. So why is the guy coming on air to release the audio? For what? What is he going to gain? Is he like trying to like sell himself, or he's trying to like bring Tonto down? But I feel the guy is very mature. The guy is not mature at all. The guy is a baby. Because it's only a baby can behave like that. Even babies, most babies are even mature. But how can you have a conversation with a woman or someone you claim to or you like, and just because of a little, I don't even care if she actually did what she did. But the truth is, we are mature people. You're supposed to talk about it and tell it like everyone. And if you don't want her, hey, talk to her, let her go away.
Exactly.
Come on air or bringing yourself to out is crazy. Like, to me, it's crazy. It's like, hey, so we can't even trust ourselves anymore.
Let me take this message I have from someone. It says, Morayo, love is for fools. Love can't be spontaneous. Love comes after you've assessed your partner objectively with his capabilities to allow you to aspire, achieve beyond, being a good listener that feels what affects you, accepting you. I kind of mix it up. Okay, with all these, there must be reservations too. As a wife and mother, you must be ready to support when necessary. Please, leave love alone. It comes when it does, but... So what you're trying to say that, love is... Love
but you must test it.
You must test it. You must test it. You must earn it too. But I wanted to just quickly add to Miriam that there's an adage in my place that says, the king where they use flog first wife. They hand for back of door. They wait for the second wife. And it goes both ways. So we need to understand that there is a thin line between love and hate, especially in these climes. Like the way the love will switch to hate in like 0 to 100 in a split second. You'll be wondering, is it not these two people again? What happened? If we have that at the back of our minds, we'll make it our priority to ensure that the people we bring into our space, especially when it comes to relationships, are people who are good people. And you also ensure that you yourself are a good person because you would attract your kind. So if you can rule out the fact that this person is good to everybody around, is a good person, if anything happens, he will not treat me bad. You'll be rest assured that when issues like this happen, you just hear that these two people are no longer together. What happened? What happened? Nobody's talking.
We fell out.
We fell out.
So sometimes it's about you spotting what your problem is. So you've left a relationship, one that you claimed was terrible, full of lies and everything. Why do you need to prove anything to that ex?
My sister.
What are you trying to prove? You know, so you have a man. And why do you have to have a man? Instead of having a man, why don't you have a quality man? You know, why do you have to have just any man? And even if you do have a quality man, what is your problem with proving? Because in relationships, we forget the baggage, the children, a lot. We forget them quickly. In this conversation I had, take care of my child. Don't let the father get him. what exactly, you know, these are full of emotional blackmail.
This drama. The man that's already putting you outside, the person you want to even give your child to.
That kind of thing, you see, people say a lot of things when they are emotionally down. That for information is not for us. It's at that moment when she's saying, think about my child.
She was desperate.
She was desperate. That means what that desperation is between you and the man. And I can be vulnerable with somebody I fall in love with. That should be vulnerable.
The moment of weakness.
You can be vulnerable.
So it's wrong for...
Wait now. But don't blackmail.
Is that blackmail?
Wait now.
I can blackmail. Listen.
Me and you wait now. Wait. Let's try and understand.
If I blackmail you, because
I agree that you should not leak audio. Shall we have agreed that?
Yes.
And now we are trying to see what was happening in the mind.
But if I blackmail you, I probably did it in error. I probably did it because at that moment I'm not thinking rationally.
So we're saying it was the moment of weakness.
So these people make mistakes all the time.
You deal as matured adults, because we're saying he's not mature, she's not matured. If you are a matured adult, you deal with issues. If your husband or partner has an issue with you, you leave the child, your past, in one place and kill that issue. I did not do anything. Your audio, my messages that you read, this is my phone. Leave an open relationship, and if you do have to answer to anything, answer it well. Before you are going far, going Gino, go and bring shit.
Go to a blackmailing thing.
Say your ass is not good. That's why we have to.
You know what? You know the problem.
Let me take a response after this call. I have a call from my brother. Good morning. Are you there?
So cute.
Hello. Good morning. Are you there?
Hello. Good morning.
You're live. Go ahead, please.
Yeah. So this about recording. And for evidence sake, I think I really don't have a problem with people that record for evidence sake. I mean, it depends on what you want to use it for. In my case, I had a friend. This was a female friend. Of course, I'm a lady. I became really close to her and shared a lot of things with her. Unfortunately for me, the friendship was based on a lot of lies because this lady was feeding me with a lot of lies. I shared even marital issues that I had with her, and unfortunately, I found out that she wasn't married but was lying about being married and sharing false information with me. I found out a lot about her. I went online, found out stuff and everything, and I said, okay, you know what, since we're friends, I'll present her with this evidence that I have that all you've been telling me has been lies so far. And then when I was going to have the conversation with her, I said, okay, you know what, because I know this person to be one person who tells a lot of lies. Why don't I just record for evidence sake? So I decided to record our conversations and everything. Trust me, all that she still told me and everything, she still lied about it. And I was like, okay, you know what, I'm just going to leave this matter to rest anyway. But I'm going to be careful with how I deal with her moving forward. But I never shared it with anybody. Of course, I discussed it with my siblings, with my sisters, and I didn't share the audio with them or anything because this is somebody that told me even about jobs because I'm an entrepreneur and everything that she even told me about, like she came with me with a job idea and everything that, oh, she has this client that wants to do this, that, and eventually it was just a lie.
Right. All right, thank you very much.
I'll
come there and say, BBC. I'm just calling it. So I come to you. But you see, I want to make sure Nima understands what I was trying to say earlier. It's the fact that, so if I have a child out of wedlock, and then the man who I had it with is now married, happy, and is rubbing into my face.
Why
he's
did you keep your face there?
No. He's okay. Well, I mean, the point I'm trying to make is that he has hurt me so bad.
And you have not healed.
For me, I have not healed.
Okay.
I've come to you now. I'm married to you.
So bleed on me.
That's my most weakest point. So when I am now mad at you, I'm telling you, please don't let this man come and further hurt me by breaking up with me. I don't want. I say cover my shame. I'm saying that I'm trying Bomila Shiri. So I'm saying please don't put me to shame. And I'm saying that because I really mean that. But I don't want the world to hear me say that because into the world I'm hard-faced. I'm handling this. I'm on top of this matter, and I'm okay.
And then you expose.
And then you expose.
So the problem now is you got into another relationship when you haven't healed. What we see as peppering is we that are the ones who are translating it to mean peppering. Somebody will do something, and then you assume that they are making it pain you. They are putting up the picture because of me. They want to pepper me. It's your state of mind. So you need to heal. That's why they say heal in your relationship or heal after your relationship is over, so that you don't go and cut some or bleed on somebody who didn't cut you. So you transfer everything, all the baggages, because you have not healed, to the next relationship. It won't work. It won't work. Secondly, I also wanted to say that we haven't learned the art of conflict resolution. So something happens and we're bringing in the past, the future, the future into AI and all of that into something that we could have just spoken about it and resolved it as the issue is. Unfortunately, if you have a track record of lies have been trailing you, it's difficult to focus on what is happening, because the person who you're dealing with will be thinking of, are you planning to do this to me because you have been doing it? You have a track record of doing that. We need to solve our issues by focusing on the present. What happened? I was accused of cheating, Abi. I did not cheat. This is it. This is how it happened. I went to this place. I called you. I was going here and all of that. And try as much as possible to make our engagements day-to-day transparent so that you have alibis. We watch a Igbo film. They say, where is your alibi? Where were you at so and so time? You have alibis in case. Because if you have a track record of lies, the onion is on you. You have landed, though. To defend yourself, that you are now a good come back. When we come back. We'll be right back. We're ending up this conversation.
Thanks for staying with us. So I have Chief Obi from Ajawa State with us. Good morning, Chief.
I thought it was Cubana.
Good morning, sir. Are you there?
Ooh. Hello, good morning.
You're live. You're live. Go ahead, please.
Chief Obi.
Go ahead.
Obi is a girl.
How are you? Sorry, go ahead, please.
I'm there. Good morning, Muraya. How are you?
Very well.
Okay. Muraya, it's so nice to talk to you. I like your dress for a start.
Thank you very much, madam.
Okay. Ma, you're just the right person we need today in this program. Okay. You were telling us about bonding trauma. Please throw more light on bonding trauma. Because you mentioned something about when you leave a relationship, you're not supposed to want to do it. Yeah, that's what immediately. Yeah. Please, we really need you today to throw more light on that.
Okay, ma'am.
The outer lady. Miriam.
It's Nima.
You're just in my mind every time. I don't know where to see you and give you a big bottle of wine. You're too much. What in the world is anybody out to prove when you are out of a relationship? You don't want this relationship and you backed out. Why would you not go further to prove anything again to where you're coming from? Unless your mind is there. You know? I don't know. Tonto Dikeh, I like her. That's the truth. But I don't know how to really convey it to her that first, all you have to do at this particular point in time is to heal. Forget whoever. Don't prove nothing to whoever. Heal and move on. Love yourself. Choose any path you want to choose and be the best of who you can. Forget about relationship. And whenever you delve into another relationship, don't even bring it out there. We don't need to know. What will be, will be. If it is risk in marriage, you are here to wait for your rights and still eat it. If it doesn't, just be yourself and do your thing.
Thank you very much, Chief Obi.
Yeah,
I'll tell you. That's what I said.
Bonding trauma.
Okay, trauma bonding. Okay. So yeah, let me start by saying that some of us do not understand how to be by ourselves. So from our background, you finish secondary school, university, from the university. It's even now that I see young girls who are able to rent apartments and stay on their own. In our time, it was a taboo. From your father's house, you get into your husband's house. And then if something happens in that relationship, because you haven't been able to stay on your own, understand who you are, the next nice person that comes around, you start having this false sense of attachment to that person. It's a false codependency. It's a false sense of love towards that person, and in your mind you feel like you are really in love with this person, but you are using that person to try to fill up a void or fill that void the other person has left. yet because you haven't actually healed from that relationship. So the advice is, when a relationship goes bad, you are not expected to jump into the next relationship. Give it time. Give it a number of years, depending on how you are able to heal. Go and see a therapist. Understand yourself. Learn about yourself. Take up new hobbies. Just be yourself for a time. Then when the right person comes in, you're in an emotional state to get into that relationship. That's what trauma bonding is.
I have a caller. I have Mrs. Ahmed. Are you there? Thanks for calling.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning. You're live. Go ahead, please.
Yeah, I would like to say something about healing. You know, for some of us, it takes a long time to heal. You know, it takes a very, very long time to heal. And, you know, for Tonto, I would have expected that she tries out a coping mechanism. You know, because for some of us that were really, really heartbroken, sometimes you can't even tell how long it will take you to heal. You know, and, you know, for her, of course, being on social media, in fact, I would have said that she should go off social media for a while. You know, because it is not easy. The reality is that it is not easy to heal. And we cannot tell how long it would take to heal.
Yeah, true.
You know, and she needs to draft out a coping mechanism.
Thank you, Mrs. Hamid. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. I think is that we don't talk enough about how to do it. We are not taught how to heal, as people say, because we're not taught how to be alone. A average young girl in Nigeria, she already knows what her path is supposed to be, and she takes it as successes. So I know I'll go to secondary school, after secondary I'll go to university, NYSC, there should be a man in my life. So those are things she has to take off in her box. And then when that man does not happen, all of a sudden, no matter what else she has achieved, we haven't ticked that box that everyone expects me to have ticked. That is, we have to be with someone. We need to teach our children, our girls, how to be by themselves, how to enjoy who they are. You know, when we watch, there's another show in America like ours, and one of the co-hosts went through a public divorce. We were able to see her go through a public divorce, and she said she took out time to date herself because she wanted the person that will meet her, will now meet her a whole person, someone who was now sure of herself. She said in her first marriage, she just went with the flow. So she took out time. She said she read books, she traveled, she did so many things, started her business. So by the time the person who wanted to date her, he knew who he was dating, she knew who she was, she knew what she wanted. We need to encourage women who leave relationships to understand that, see, being by yourself is not a failure. It's a time to be a particular person. Some people have moved from, you know, we have to say this honestly, there are some sort of men you date, a certain socioeconomic class. After you've grown and understood yourself, you don't find that set of people attractive anymore. All of a sudden, they even become more attractive to a different kind of person. Because you have grown yourself, you are now a boss of yourself. And I'm not talking money. Now, the last thing to add is that part of where they said this particular Tonto has not healed. For what I see, I don't follow her a lot on social media, but the only times I get to hear about her is when she's on social media, either talking about the ex-former relationship or using her present day to stick it to the former relationship. There's no how you be. You know, they say when you're digging a hole for your enemy, dig two graves. So there's no how you're showing hate and pepper them to one person that you're not also hurting yourself. If you're able to just take yourself away from that person, whatever moves you make, wherever you go with your life, it's not about that person, it's about you. When you are now making it about comparing, so that he sees how much better I'm doing, so that he sees how much, yes, and then when he does something, when something good is happening in their lives, it now affects your own life. You're constantly unhappy because you're constantly in competition and in comparison with someone who has moved on. Make it about yourself and just move on.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Mariam. Let me take this call from Abby. She's been holding for a while from London. Hello, Abby. Are you there?
Yeah.
You're live. Go ahead, please.
Morning. I'm just trying to speak about the legal aspect. I think we are talking about the information being leaked out or not. The aspect is after everything, what happens. I think someone mentioned about Tonto Dikeh being suicidal. If, God forbid, anything happens to her tomorrow, and she just tried to take her life, what happens then? Because we have to look at the legal aspect. I tell I'm calling from London. There are some things that you don't do, even when you call into an organization. I'm not sure about the individual aspect, but an organization will let you pick probably one or two if you want to be recorded. So I think that should be attached to anyone that is going to marry in Nigeria, because I think I watched a video of a young girl being dumped by the boyfriend, and she.
Okay, Abby, let me be sure I get this right. Thank you so much for calling, Nima. So what he's saying is that if I threaten that I'm going to kill myself, and you record me doing that, and I actually do, can family members sue you for that? For actually releasing
be liable
for going ahead? If I threaten that I'll kill myself, if you do what you want to do, and then release the video, whatever, can I sue you? Can family members sue?
As the cause of the suicide, I don't think so.
Okay, because that was
yes, in fact, in cases where they are doubting whether it's suicide or not, that video or audio may be your defense as person. When you have a conversation with somebody, of course, we are not abroad. In abroad, you can carry that audio and quickly report that there's a possible suicide happening. That somebody has just threatened to commit suicide because you have some, you know, maybe you clip out the entire conversation to the point where the threat comes. And then maybe the police can come in and do something to avert a suicide. But that a person commits suicide just because both of you have an argument. Some people break up. And say, if you leave me, I'm going to kill myself.
No, what if you release this audio or haven't released this audio, I'm going to kill myself?
That audio has to be very destructive, defamative kind of audio.
For it to be admitted.
Maybe someone has a nude picture of someone and the person saying, don't release it. If you do, I'll kill myself. Even when you now do as evidence, the family can come back based on that and file a
Let me take this call. We have a lot of calls coming in. Uche, are you there from Owerri? Good morning. You're live. Uche. Hello, Uche. Are you there?
Yes.
Yes, go ahead. You're live. Okay, I think I've lost Uche. What's the role of the ex-husband in all this? The man, yes, he's moved on. I mean, I would think, see, listen, as much as we would like to, you know, paint this woman in a certain way, society doesn't really like to paint a woman. But she's a human being, and she fell in love. He fell in love with her. These are two adults. There's something good in this person. So if I were him, this is an opportunity to say, listen, you are a good person. You don't deserve this. I mean, yes, I'm not in a relationship with you, but it's a good time for him to set the record straight on who. I don't know. I just feel that there's got to be some role. Why is Nima doing this? I don't know. There's got to be some role he should play in this whole thing.
No, I don't think. Did you see the drama?
Which drama?
That drama.
Yes, now. Hey, that's what now. He's married now.
And the guy is trying to prove to the world, because of what he had been put through, that I'm a good man. I can have a good woman by my side. So, and I like
that the problem was not that.
The problem was not that.
Now, in this kind of situation,
you should go and talk to...
No, in this kind of situation, I would like to hear him.
This is what I have to say on this. For parents raising girls, because Miriam was talking about that, I remember the conversation. I was just 17. Super Story was showing Bookie Wright was the actress, and something happened between her in her marriage. And my father used that opportunity to talk to his 3 eldest girls. If marriage is not going fine, your relation is okay. And because that's the way they know how, he said you can come home and find yourself again. You don't stay from your marriage and move to another marriage or another relationship. All of you mustn't do that. If anything goes wrong in any relationship you're in, come and re-strategize and get yourself back. When you have healed your hole again, from there I will support anything.
Let me come to
give it time. Parents should start to have that conversation and give their children the opportunity to be able to come back.
Okay. I have to inform you that the president has just arrived in Imo State, and we'll be signing out right now from the international channel, that's TVC News, or will be available on all the other platforms across, that's on GOTV and on Facebook and
social media.
Social media. Okay, so I will be. Let me take Fumi that comes to BC. Fumi, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
You're live. Go ahead, please.
Good morning, Mariah.
Morning.
The crew. This is my first time of calling.
Welcome to the show.
So it's nice to be on the air this morning.
Thank you.
We quite appreciate you guys and what you're doing. I'm willing to contribute to this discussion this morning because, honestly, some of us that are women are pained with some of these things that are happening on social media these days. And I would like to agree with Miriam. You know, she said something about if you have moved on from a man, you should move on in entirety. You should try and focus more on yourself and how to develop yourself, as opposed to doing stuff to like perfect the other person. So for me, yes, I feel so pained. You know, I've never been a fan of Tonto. You know, but again, with all these things that have been happening, I kind of find myself having to sympathize with her and all of that, because truly what she must be going through a lot of pain. So what I'm going to say is, yes, I would say, one, she has never probably been able to leave the first one. She has not been able to heal when she left Churchill, and then she probably went into the second one to probably perfect the Churchill who she had left. Okay? Right. So for me, that's the beginning of, you know, some of the issues that we can see now. And if you look at that video...
Oh, we lost that call for me. Yes, please go ahead.
For me, the relationship with the ex-husband was pretty messy. It was all over social media. It was so messed up. And I would like to assume that the man is still healing himself. Now that he has started, you know, picking up the pieces of his life, you now want him involved in this kind of mess. When you move on, you move on. Forward ever, backward never. If he's in a place where he has totally healed himself, because the thing is, you know, when breakups happen, we always pay attention more to the woman. The man still takes a process to heal. He may have gotten married to that person even as a result of trauma bonding. And he's still trying to, okay, we're now beginning to love ourselves. We're now beginning to understand ourselves. And this one is happening. Him looking back to want to try and say, let me pull you up, when he has not fully found his feet, will be dragging him back to the pit. That's why when something happens like this, some people relocate. They just go away from that environment where you can't reach me, you can't see me, give me 10 years. When we now see the children are grown, we can now look at each other and say hi and hello politely. Some people may never still be able to sit in the same room to have a proper conversation. Okay. So asking that he comes back is a problem. But I also wanted to point out something. There's something I realized during the time I was working with people who were going through domestic abuse. I realized that the person who is always, you know, talking about suicide. So when something happens and you use yourself, if you don't do this, I will kill myself, is an abuser. He's an abuser. That person is an abuser. That person wants to keep you in bondage and in shackles. And because he's not the overt abuser who will hit you and all of that, uses that as a control mechanism to keep you down. So if you have a relationship, I had a young guy once who was dating somebody, and once he says, okay, this relationship is not working, let's go, the girl will go and take drugs and nearly die. And then he had to, and he had to call for help. And I said, break up this relationship. This person will put you in trouble. She's abusing you. Let us call a spade a spade. Okay. We need to have some conversations with our young people. Very important. To know these things.
Caroline, you're live. Go ahead, please. We lost that phone.
So let me take some tubes. Daisy says, I love the natural Mrs. Obiajuli is wearing. I'm just taking tubes. Gillian is commending us for standing by Toto. Then Victor says, the person recording is always very careful of what he or she would say, says, while the other person will just lose guard and be talking anyhow. You know, Joko Kotaru says, what is wrong with our moral decadence these days? Must we wash our dirty linen in public on social media? Enya Akinride says, but why do we suddenly have amnesia about Tonto's bad behavior in the past? There's no amnesia. She did this to her ex too and ridiculed him. What goes around circles around.
Okay, so let me just answer that. Listen, as we said, Tonto is not perfect, and we're not talking about Tonto today because we all have issues. Everybody has issues. We all have our own bad behaviors we've done. So Tonto is not our focus today. Our issue is the betrayal in relationships. That how do we prevent ourselves from getting into relationships where you're in love with people who can actually have the capacity to betray you.
Yeah.
You think you're in love with somebody, and how do you be as a woman and as a man? Protect yourself, protect your emotions from betrayers as lovers. That's really our topic today, not Tonto's. Yes, she has her own history. Everybody got a history.
Everybody's got history. You know, Mariah, we had a caller who said she took an audio recording of her friend who has always lied. And I disagree with you. You shouldn't have done that. I just wanted to say that you should not have done that. Now we have, I think, on the phones, devices where it would tell the person on the other end that this call is being recorded. In any other sort of meeting, you're supposed to let the other person understand that they're being recorded, just as that tube you read, where because you are aware you are being recorded, you are not as open and as vulnerable as the person you're recording. So you are coming from a place of advantage over the person that thinks that here we are having a heart-to-heart. So I think it is wrong. Going forward is not the right thing to do, especially concerning what you said. It was about her lies, which you already knew. So there was no need to take any recording.
Kalu, are you there? I've been holding for a while. Hello, Kalu, you're live?
Yeah, Morel, good morning.
Go ahead, please. Thanks for calling.
Yeah, Morel, good morning.
Morning.
Obi, I totally disagree this morning. Okay?
Okay.
One of the things I just totally disagree with you on that aspect of it. You can work for the pizza and they cannot work for the gems to move ahead. This younger generation, things are so difficult to maintain 2 wives or maintain double family. That's why I'm advising this morning that everybody in the family or in marriage to respect himself. Social media has exposed a lot. It has happened before. There is nothing like breakup and all those things. Look at the last caller recording all those things means nothing. The key of this morning, of discussion this morning, maintain and respect yourself and your field. Don't need to expose anything. You can discover your partner that they had a package somewhere. Packages. All you need first, God, and also maintain that quality living. Look at what are they saying that, forge ahead or move ahead. No. Moving ahead means nothing. Because if you break up with a relationship with a beater, you move into another relationship with a beater, and it can't work. Those days, like what Nema always mentioned in this program, as a Muslim, you can 100% handle 2 wives. 3 wives, so many of them. In the sense you can meet up with the level of the marriage. But it's not easy to do it in the younger generation because things are so difficult.
Right. Okay. Thank you, Mr. Kalu.
I don't think he gets what I was trying to say, but Tunde Babatunde here says, anyone in Nigeria who got married as a man or a woman before the advent of smartphones should just thank their God. Many women or men would not have been married. Yes. Back in the day in the university, we had girlfriends or boyfriends who didn't even know each other's homes. The relationship was kept to the campus until you're ready to make it known to your parents. Nowadays, you meet someone on the bus and he or she is seen on your status as the bae and boo. It is wrong. Cool Emmy says...
That's a hot topic.
Yes, it is. It is. Cool Emmy said, how would the conversation have gone if it was Tonto Dikeh that has the recording?
Same.
Women want empathy when the tables were turned, but lack the same courtesy. We can't just identify the truth in this matter and blame the culprits. Wale Jacob says, Tonto Dikeh has a history of mental blah, 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 blah in relationships.
Please Tonto out of this.
Yes.
Okay, let us take this call. Mariah from Ayobo. Are you there?
Mariah?
Lots of Mariah these days.
Yeah.
Hi, Mariah. How are you doing?
I'm fine. Oh.
You're live. Go ahead, please.
Yes, I wanted to do what people are discussing this morning.
No.
I read a book titled If You Actually Want to Marry an Award-Winning Husband or Award-Winning Wife, you also should become an award-winning wife or award-winning husband. According to what Miriam said this morning, she said, bad people attract bad people.
True.
Bad husband will as well attract bad wife. It is one that we reach. If you find yourself maybe falling constantly recording or having a record of anything that happens between friendship, so definitely, hello, are you hearing me?
Yeah. Yes. It's a bit faint, but we're hearing you. Go ahead.
Hello?
Yes, go ahead, please, Mariam. Oh, we lost that call.
So in the ND YouTube says, actually in the US, you can get sued if someone told you they're going to kill themselves and you tell them to go ahead, and she actually does. That's if it's recorded. That will not work for here. But Oladide says something that works here. He says, Moria, what he said is if you record someone secretly and you release the video to shame the person to the point they eventually commit suicide, I believe you can be sued. In Nigeria, that can be a manslaughter ground.
Okay. Okay, thank you very much for clarifying that. Yeah. Okay, we're going to wrap it up very soon, but I'd like to hear your final thoughts on this. So as I said, before they think it's a man-bashing show, that's not what it is. There's some times where we talk, we criticize the actions the women do absolutely on this show. But there are days where things like this, we need to highlight the irresponsibility of the partner who is betraying the trust that people expect in marriage, and that's the focus of today's conversation. But your final words on this?
So like we said, nobody's perfect. You can be deliberate about what you want to become, and you can own your mistakes, your own competition, your own opponent in life. Own your mistakes, grow from them, and learn from them. You don't have to prove anything to anybody. And if you make the wrong choice of relationship, it's because you were not perfect at the time you made them as well. So you own them as part of your mistakes and continue to and make better choices and move on in life. You don't have to beg. And if you have begged before, it will be the end of the world. You're not the first. Move on, own your mistakes, and start afresh.
Fantastic. Thank you, Mariam.
Yeah, so for me, it's behavior like this is immature, is disrespectful, and also shows signs of inferiority complex. So it's very important we work on ourselves. Learn to love yourself, and then you can love someone else. Understand what respect is. When we ask for, push for it, it's because for times like this, so you know how you carry yourself and those around you. So
I think that young men and women should learn to set good standards for themselves and look out for people who are good while they are working on themselves to be good. And before you open your mouth to speak or to take action, let it be laced in love.
Fantastic. I think one of my own high points is the fact that, listen, you must realize that there are bad people in this world. You might fall in love with one of them. They're good people, they're bad people. And when you come across a bad person, that's who they are. Doesn't make you a bad person. So, as Nima has said, yes, you made a mistake. This man has done this, or even the man himself has made a mistake by marrying the woman he doesn't love. Either way, mistakes happen. Take time to heal, and then move on, and have a better life in future. Nobody should judge you, or you don't judge yourself. They can judge you, but don't judge yourself. Love yourself, as you said earlier, and make sure you make the best of what you have. You have an amazing family, children in these relationships, and I think people should take advantage of that, the good parts of the story, and build on that, and then find joy, peace, and happiness. I think that's all we can take on the show today. Have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye for now.